Shri Shri Guru Gauranga Gandhavika Giridhari Radha Vino Bihari Ji Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Naranga Swami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Trivikram Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Viyam Bharati Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Gaur Govinda Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Raksha Shira Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Pragyan Keshav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Sirup Siddhanti Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Daita Madhav Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Goswami Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vishnupada Stotar Sata Shri Srimad Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Paramahamsa Shri Gokashodas Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Sachidananda Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Ki Jai Nitilil Pravishtam Vaishnav Sarvabhauma Shri Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki Jai Shri Gaurivedantacharya Shri Baladev Vidya Bhushan Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur Ki Jai Shri Narottam Srinivas Shamananda Prabhu Chai Ki Jai Shri Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami Ki Jai Shri Rup Sanatan Bhatta Raghunath Shri Jiva Gopal Bhatta Das Raghunath Sat Goswami Prabhu Ki Jai Shri Swarup Damodar Rai Ramdas Gaur Prasad Vrindi Ki Jai Namachar Shri Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Shri Antadweep Mayapur Samantadweep Gaudrumadweep Madhyadeep Kuladweep Rutadweep Javanadweep Rudradweep Atmakashinavadweep Dham Ki Jai Shri Radha Krishna Gopa Gopi Go Govardhan Dwaras Vanatmak Shri Braj Mandal Ki Jai Shri Shamakun Radhakun Jamuna Ganga Tulsi Bhakti Devi Ki Jai Shri Purnamasi Yogamai Ki Jai Gopeshwara Mahadev Ki Jai Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Ki Jai Nishinga Bhagavan Ki Jai Bhakti Pravesh Shri Prahlad Maharaj Ki Jai Chara Sampradaya Ki Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Jai Shri Giriraj Maharaj Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrindi Ki Jai Samagata Bhakta Vrindi Ki Jai Nitai Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Okay, so we'll sing E Bara Karuna Karo. It's page 44 in the book. E Bara Karuna Karo. E Bara Karuna Karo. Vaishnava Gosha. E Bara Karuna Karo. Vaishnava Gosha Patita Pavana Tama Vinekeona Patita Pavana Tama Vinekeona Kaharani kate gele papa dhure jai Kaharani kate gele papa dhure jai Emana dayala Prabhu ke bakotha pai Emana dayala Prabhu ke bakotha pai Kandara Pairasha Haile pashyate pavan Gangarapa Rasha Hoile Pasyate Pavan Darshane Pavitra Kara Tomara Gun Darshane Pavitra Kara Tomara Gun Bara Karuna Karo Vaishnava Goshan Bara Karuna Karo Vaishnava Goshan Patita Pavana Tama Dine ke ho na Patita Pavana Tama Dine ke ho na Harishtane aparadhe Tore Harina Harishtane aparadhe Tore Harina Tomastane aparadhe Nahi koera Tomastane aparadhe nahi koera Tomara hridaye sadha Govinda Vishram Tomara hridaye sadha Govinda Vishram Govinda kahena mama Vaishnava para Govinda kahena mama Vaishnava para Prati janme kari ansha charane radhuli Prati janme kari ansha charane radhuli Narata me kara daya apanara boli Narata me kara daya apana boli Ebara karuna karo Vaishnava Gosai Ibara Karuna Karo Vaishnava Gosai Patita Pavana Tama Bina Keona Patita Pavana Tama Binake Hona Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnav Thakur Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Vaishnava Thakur, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Guru Deva, Jaya Guru Deva, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Guru Parampara, Parampara, Guru Parampara, Jai Giri Raja, Jai Govardhana, Jaya Giri Raja, Jaya Govardhana, Jaya Giri Raja, Jaya Govardhana, Giri Raja, Jaya Govardhana, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Gaura Haribo, Nitai Gaura Haribo, 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 Haribo. Nitai Gaura Premanandi, Hari Haribo.
Thank you, Radhika Didi. Agyanatimirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Radhikaye Priyatmane Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayane Namine. Namo Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Namine. Vancha kalpatarubhisha kripa sindhu bevacha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. First of all, I'd like to offer my humble obeisances at the lotus feet of my Guru Pad Padma Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Stotra Sata Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Goswami Maharaj. At the same time, offer my humble Dandavat Pranams at the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Stotra Sata Shishimad Bhaktivedanta Swami Maharaj. And at the same time, at the lotus feet of Nitya Lila Pravishta Om Vishnupada Stotra Sata Shishila Bhaktivedanta Vaman Goswami Maharaj, the entire Rupanuga Guru Varga, all Vaishnavis and Vaisnavas, the Sannyas Vrindas, and any devotees that are watching. Firstly, I would like to welcome everyone and thank everyone for joining our program on our Gurudeva Memories program this Sunday, knowing that it's a super auspicious day as we do Govardhan Anukut today, and Gurudev would be making us all prepare and getting our bhog ready to carry on our heads around to Giriraj. For some it was Modi Bhavan, and nowadays it's a little bit further out, but Gurudev will take us to Giriraj and offer our prasad, but more importantly he would offer us to Giriraj. And so firstly, just wanted to say happy Govardhan Anukut and happy Diwali to everyone, because for those that have been celebrating. And then the other thing is that in terms of the way that this program is run, we normally would encourage etiquette being promoted in speaking order of Vaishnavas, but due to the time difference, there's many different factors that we're not able to follow the etiquette properly. So do please forgive us that you may see that some devotees are speaking before senior devotees, etc. There's a reason for that. It's just because of the way that it's all panned out. So please do forgive us if we create any offense to anyone by doing that. So now that we've entered into week 7 of our Gurudeva Memories, we're so fortunate to have such a wonderful lineup of devotees coming to speak about Srila Gurudeva and Srila Prabhupada and Srila Maharaj, and so that we can get closer to them and we can understand them. There's so many different aspects of Sri Guru that we have yet to unravel, and we've got some wonderful speakers today that have got heartfelt memories with Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada. So I would like to introduce our first speaker, who is a most amazing devotee. I actually admire him, and he's so humble. He is someone that is a wonderful devotee of Srila Prabhupada and Srila Gurudev, and his humility always gets me. I always feel very close to him, and I actually aspire to be like him. So it's none other than our Jiva Pavan Prabhu from America / UK. He lives in the UK now. So Jiva Pavan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Please accept my obeisances to all the assembled devotees, and at least let me acknowledge all the pranam mantras that Didi has just said without going through all of them. But if you would permit me, please, I would like to invite you to do a meditation with me. If you would, in your mind's eye or in your heart, please welcome Srila Gurudev, Srila Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Bhakti Pradhyana Keshava Goswami, all the way through our parampara, especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur. If you would please invite them to sit down and create an asana for them. It could be decked with jewels and valuable metals with a wonderful silk cushion, or it could be in a forest with flowers, and you can either invite the acharya form or the internal forms, or both, as you like. And I ask you to please see your hands massaging and washing their feet after offering them this nice sitting place with various auspicious substances, also washing their hands and drying them with lots of love. And then I would ask you to kindly please imagine this throughout the entire Guru Parampara, but also we're inviting Shamananda Prabhu and Narottam Das Thakur and so many Vaisnavas and sages. Narada Muni has come. We want everyone to come in our meditation to listen to our Harikatha today. And they should all be welcomed equally in this wonderful way, and we assist them. But especially today, we want to welcome and offer our pranams to Raman Manjari Srila Gurudev. I will just read the translation to his pranam mantras. I offer my pranama to Om Vishnupad Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, who is very dear to Srimati Radhika. Srila Narayan Maharaj is expert in describing Krishna Leela. He's endowed with the quality of magnanimity and sweetness, and he is the best of the great souls. Because he is always relishing Krishna's sweetness, he is able to freely distribute that sweetness to others. I bow down and place my head at his feet. Sridhandi Sannyasi Shri Narayan Maharaj, the crown jewel of devotees, always keeps in his heart the lotus feet of Radha and Krishna, especially when Krishna serves Srimati Radhika. He deeply meditates on Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the internal reasons for his descent. I bow down to the lotus feet of Srila Narayan Maharaj, who possesses innumerable transcendental qualities. So I was born in the darkness of ignorance, and my spiritual masters, Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, forcibly opened my eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. I offer my respectful obeisances unto him, and I offer my obeisances again and again, millions of times, at the lotus feet of Srila Gurudev, who was sent by Srila Prabhupada to save me at a time when my kripa was really, really in trouble. And he sprinkled that kripa with the desire of the dust of Radha Dasyam, and he strengthened my vision of the gold, like that. I have written something. I don't know if I can find it on my screen right now, so I'll skip it, and if there's time, I'll read it in the end. But as it's Govardhan Puja, without going into a lot, I just want to share the sweet memory I had with Srila Gurudev in 1997 in Baja, when we first did this, what's become sort of institution in our Sangha for worshiping Giriraj, who Srila Gurudev revealed to us has many forms. Today, Krishna takes on the form of Giriraj and accepts all our offerings, but Giriraj, because he provides so many wonderful places for pastimes, and those pastimes are very intimate, Srila Gurudev revealed that he has his female aspect as Girirani. And not only that, because so many wonderful things are being provided by Govardhan, Govardhan is actually the heart of Radhika, like that. So I remember, as was mentioned before, the devotees had were asked to make 64 preps, but they made 130. And very beautifully, they had procured this, what we call colored tissue paper, which came in reds and purples and greens and blues and yellows, so many wonderful colors. And they put all the preps on these beautiful baskets and paper, colorful papers. They're the sort of papers that brand names, when they sell you something expensive, they wrap it up in this very colorful tissue paper and then put it in their brand box. You know, this very expensive, beautiful kind of gift wrapping paper. So all the devotees, of course, they were in their beautiful saris and dhotis, and all the children, and everybody was carrying, you know, preps on their head. And they had selected this mound in Badger. If you haven't been to Badger, there's quite a lot of land. And they taken a mound, and on that mound, quite conveniently, there was some protruding stones, which were perfect. And my service, I had already prepared a bathing receptacle. I had all of the Govardhan Shilas that from other devotees on the mound in such a way. And my Govardhan, which I don't know if you can see him from here, but he's fairly large, and he's this shape. And he was sitting in the, and I had all the ingredients ready: panchamrita, the petals and tulsi, like that, for Gurudev to come. So as the devotees were coming, and they looked so beautiful, this procession with the Kirtan and Gurudev in front, on his side, as always, at that time, Naveen Krishna Prabhu is now Madhava Maharaj, and Brajanath Prabhu, looking so young now, because I looked at the tape the other day, and he looked so young. But anyway, so the devotees were coming, and when Gurudev came, he looked at me, and he kind of said, "Oh, you've arranged everything for the puja," and he kind of looked at me, so like, do the puja. And in my mind, I was thinking, no, Sri Gurudev, I'm here to assist you, you know. And I kind of, in a big way, moved my arms to invite him to take the, you know, the asana and do the puja. And he was like, oh, okay. And then all of a sudden his mood changed, and he actually went down on his knees, and he pulled out his Brahmin cord, and over the ingredients, he just chanted one mantra very quickly. But then he got up very majestically and became like the master of ceremonies, you know. And it was very clear from the beginning that he wanted to involve all of the devotees somehow, you know. So he looked and he asked for flower petals, and I had some there, because, you know, the puja requires that you welcome the deity and you offer flower petals and all that. But he said, no, flower petals, you know. He wanted all the devotees to have flower petals, you know. So quickly a message was made, you know, and some flower petals were taken from the flowers I had, and someone ran and got a bowl of flower petals, and they were all being, you know, distributed to the devotees, like that. So from the very beginning, Gurudev was like doing the puja and teaching how to do the puja. He would chant the mantras out loud, have everyone repeat them, and then he would have them, you know, do kirtan. And And in my mind, I was just thinking all the time, this is a pure devotee, this is a pure devotee. I have to make sure I don't spill anything on him, like ghee or yogurt or something like that. I got to just make sure I do everything he wants, the way he wants. My mind was like, oh, really, I don't want to offend him. Everyone's watching, I was like really, really nervous. So he started with Acha Ida Acha Maniham, and like then the pros repeated like that, and Thailam and this and that. And eventually, the puja started, and I gave him the first ingredients, which was milk, and I had a golden conch shell at that time, a conch shell with wrapped in silver that was gold plated, and I put the milk, and he offered a little bit of milk to the deities, and then he asked for a bowl. And I was bewildered because, usually after the puja, when the plate gets a little filled, is when you ask for a bowl, and he had just started, and I was like really clear. He wants a bowl. He wants a bowl, and I went like, how big? And it was that big, and I sent the devotee, and they ran, and very soon I realized that although I had set up just enough ingredients for him to offer, he had a different idea. And what he did with that bowl was, after he offered the milk and the yogurt and all that, whatever was left in the receptacle, he poured into that bowl and he mixed it. Because what he wanted was that after, with hindsight, I remember he had offered his bhav through these ingredients. He wanted these ingredients mixed so that at another point in the puja, he invited all the senior devotees, especially the ones that lived on the properties, and the ladies who were, and he made it very clear, those who were initiated with Diksha, that they should come up, and they did. And from that mix, he had them also bathing the Shilas. He also wanted all the Shilas to come into not just one Shila, because I was thinking, well, the hill, this is the hill, one Shila from, he wanted all the Shilas. So fortunately, they all fit, they all went in there. And so devotees were offering like that. And Gurudev stepped to the side, and I looked, he was by a tree kind of, and I was really pleased to watch all the devotees, senior devotees offering. And then they went around the hill. So they disappeared out of my sight. But at that time, all of the young children who obviously weren't, second initiated, they all crowded around me, and they really wanted to, to bathe Govardhan, and they were just so attractive and so beautiful, these children. I thought to myself, well, he invited in my mind, I thought he invited all the senior devotees and to offer this panchamrita, but he didn't say anything about water, and the devotees the Shilas have to be washed. So I let all the children offer water, and then the mothers with the babies were coming as well, and they were holding their baby's hand, and whether they had nappies or they were clean or not, Anyway, by that time, Srila Gurudev came around, and when he saw the children all enthusiastically bathing the Shilas, he had a big smile. I was worried because maybe he had said only the Diksha, but when he saw the children just spontaneously and enthusiastically bathing the Shilas, he had this huge smile, And then he had the devotees do a pushpanjali and throwing petals. One thing I also remember is when he asked for tulsi, and I said I had already put tulsi on all the ingredients, but he wanted a tulsi leaf in every prep. And I obviously didn't have enough tulsi for that, and I was thinking, oh, I made a mistake. I was supposed to bring a mountain of tulsi, and I don't have a bunch of tulsi, I don't have 130 bits of tulsi. But Naveen Krishna, he came to my rescue. He immediately came, he broke up a little tulsi there was, and then he took some tulsi, put it in water, in water, and then he started sprinkling the water, tulsi water, on all the preps. I was like, and I looked at Gurudev, and Gurudev goes, yeah, that's a good idea. And at another point during the puja, after the milk and the yogurt and the honey, then comes sugar water. We always put mixed water and sugar water and all that. And I handed Gurudev the sugar water, and he looked at me and he said, where's the sugar? And I said, it's sugar water. And he went, oh, okay, the water's mixed, okay. But his idea, and with hindsight I realized, was that he wanted sugar sprinkled all over the Shilas after the honey. And he wanted a lot, he said, bring a couple of kilos of sugar. They never arrived on time, you know, but some devotees ran and they must have, you know, still be running around looking for a big bag of sugar. But he wanted like a ton of sugar, which is, you know, he's sweet. Govardhan is sweet. He wanted as much sweetness as possible like that, you know. Anyway, so at one point he was offering everything to Gurudev, to Govardhan. And then he made the announcement. He said, and now after Govardhan Anayur is, you know, taking everything, and now we've washed his mouth because he led them through that mantras and all that. He says, he is ready to give a benediction. He wants to give a benediction. And so we should all pray like the Braj Gopis and the residents of Vrindavan. And we should pray simply that this boy, Krishna, that he should be safe and he should be happy. That's all. That's all we should ask for. That Krishna should be safe and Krishna should be happy. You know. And I remember another time when we were in some devotee's house who had a Govardhan Shila, one which I actually gave to him. But anyway, there were a lot of devotees crowded in the house, and Gurudev again was leading like prayers and saying, we offer everything, we offer our hearts. And he would say something, the devotees would repeat, and then he would try to give the devotees instructions, and the devotees would repeat the instructions, and everyone would laugh, you know, because, you know, Gurudev would say, no, that's what I say, not what you say, you know, that sort of thing. But then again, he came to this point where benedictions, and at that time he went a bit further. He said, when we ask Govardhan that he give us this love of Krishna in the wake of the gopis, in the mood of the Manjari, serving Rupa Goswami, and like this, and you know, he just gave the whole internal ultimate Siddhanta, and he said, and we ask for this, and we will not accept anything less. We ask for nothing more, and we will not ask for anything less. And the devotees were like so ecstatic, you know. So that's, I thought I should go a little bit into Govardhan in my memory from 1997. And I think the following year, 1998, was when we were in the devotee's house. But I have another, am I all right for time? Yeah, I have another memory. If anyone has been to Badger, they know that there's a very nice swimming pool. And by the swimming pool is this nice white wrought iron furniture, like an iron table and chairs painted white with an umbrella for shade. And from that table, there was a path along the side of the house that went to Gurudev's rooms. So that morning, we had been on a morning walk with Srila Gurudev. And I had never been on a morning walk with Srila Prabhupada. It was something I always wanted, you know. I always lamented that I had missed this opportunity to be on morning walk. Most of my service with Srila Prabhupada was distributing books in the airports, was like servicing, you know, not a lot of intimate personal association. I didn't get a lot of that. Some, which for another day was another story. But anyway, I was so happy that I was on this morning walk with Srila Gurudev. And I was sitting under this umbrella, this parasol by the swimming pool. And I was looking at this blank page and I had a pen in my hand and I wanted to write Srila Gurudev a letter. Now at that time, the whole place was on lockdown. There was a certain period of the day, around 10, 11 or something like that, 11:30ish, where everyone was really quiet because Gurudev was supposed to be taking rest at that time. So no one should make any noise. And at that time, devotees, you know, they were taking naps and that sort of thing. So I was trying to write this letter and I was thought, you know, how can I express my appreciation? All of a sudden, I felt like a shadow and a presence. And I turned and I looked up and Srila Gurudev was there, you know. And he had his hand in his bead bag, you know. And he was looking at me and he had that crooked smile. And I wow, Gurudev, but there was no room even to get out and offer obeisances because he was that close and I was in the tape and all that. And with the free finger that he had out of his bead bag, he touched his heart. And then he touched my heart. Then he touched his heart again. Then he touched my heart. Then he touched, and then he really, really hard, you know, he pressed it on my chest and really, really hard. And he was looking at me, and I don't remember if I said it or I thought it, but I said, purebhakti.com, you know, I was like, you know, thinking heart-to-heart.com, that sort of thing. And he did that Indian style of yes, shaking the top of the head. And then he walked all the way, I watched him walk all the way back down the 50 yards and back into the room. He wasn't taking rest. He was chanting his rounds, and whatever I was doing out there was disturbing. I was making noise, so it came out, And with hindsight, I realized over the years. At first, I was thinking, well, pure devotee is the external manifestation of Super Soul. And, he got my message, that I was trying to transmit, because he understands what's happening in the heart, Super Soul. But over the years, I've realized that actually it's more deep than that. He was telling me that, the external is there, and you want things externally, things need to be expressed sometimes, yes, but more important is go internal. I can hear you inside. And not only can I hear your heart, I am giving you my heart. I am trying to impress my heart on yours. Anyway, there's I'll just go in the order I noted them. Before we were in Badger, we were in LA, and we had darshan with Gurudev, and at one time he said, how do we approach Lord Chaitanya? How do we understand the Lord Chaitanya? And at that time I was like, oh, I know this, hey now, Radha Krishna, without approaching Lord Nityananda, you can't approach, So I raised my hand, I quoted the verse, and I said, and he looked at me and he said, no. He said, without understanding or approaching Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, you will never understand anything about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And I was like, whoa, And then he asked for the song Yashomati Nandan. And one devotee started, and he said, no, not that tune. Another devotee said, not that tune, not that tune. And I thought, well, the only tone I know is Yasomati Nandana Braja. Maybe he wants that tune, So I started singing it, and he said yes, and I felt relieved, And then, and not to go through the whole song, but he stopped at each line and he explained each line like that. And that's a sweet memory I have of Srila Gurudev. Another time when we were in Russia, I have this remembrance of Srila Gurudev. The devotees in Russia were quite excited that Gurudev had come. And when he did the first program in Moscow, there were so many devotees. It was like being in Navadvip trying to get through the crowd, And Gurudev was so kind that he was, going like this over everybody's head. And he was touching their heads with roses. They had given him some roses. He was throwing the roses and like this. And he made his way to the car. And he sat down in the car that was waiting for him. And you know how Gurudev always raised his hand in a blessing like this, But the devotees in Russia, they were so sweet and so innocent that they started putting their hand on his hand, palm to palm, like this, And at first, and he let them, They were all doing that. And then the devotee that wanted to drive Gurudev away, he rolled up the window, like that. And I remember seeing this one Mataji, Russian lady. She was so desperate. She wanted to touch Gurudev's hand that when all the devotees stopped because the window went up, she came and she pressed her hand against the window. And then Gurudev looked and he pressed his hand on the window to her. He touched her hand through the window. And she was crying, so loving, so sweet. Also, in Russia, I don't know how many devotees on this group had the chance to go, but what had happened in Russia was that the devotees had rented what used to be a training camp for communist children. So there was these big building, but plumbing that didn't work properly, and but all the rooms were gray, concrete gray, a la socialism, and they were quite big. The floors were concrete, the walls were concrete, And once during the festival, I found myself in a room that was filled with all the deities that the devotees wanted Srila Gurudev to perform the pran pratishtha ceremony, you know, the opening the eye ceremony, you know, breathe life into the deity so they can worship the deity. And that, so there was like Gaunitais and there was Radha Krishnas. There was like so many. And I was alone in the room. I was chanting my rounds because the room had a good echo. I was like, Hare Krishna, 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 you know, like really loud like this. And again, Gurudev just sort of like appeared, you know, over my right shoulder again. I was like, Gurudev. And he said to me with a crooked smile, are these all your deities? Of course, no, Gurudev. And then he just made a bigger crooked smile and he went, you know. And the thing is, for many years, for a long time, Gurudev had been giving me hints because I had like a large array of Shalagram Shilas. I had, you know, Kurma Shila, I had Varaha, Nishring. I had so many Shilas. I had one Krishna, I had Govardhans, I had Dwarf. I had like a mountain of Shilas. It just happens when you take up, if you take up Shalagram worship, they all start coming, you know? And he was kind of like hinting that to me that I should, you know, focus on one Thakurji, you know, like that. Anyway, to make a long story short, to the point where I had a dream where all the Shilas had went into my Krishna Shila and I eventually gave them away. But I didn't realize that Gurudev actually was asking me to give him the Shalagrams because he wanted to use them in opening a temple, specifically a temple in India, because the locals don't recognize a temple unless there's Shalagram there, you know. So I got half the message right, but I blew it by, you know, without asking him. I should have asked him, you know. So I learned lessons from that, that you might get a hint from your guru and you might think you know what he's saying, but you should confirm with him. You should ask. You should ask, you know, I've gotten this clue from you. I think this is what I should do. But just to be sure, I'm asking, what do you want me to do? Because, you know, I definitely made a mistake. What happened in Germany? I wrote something down. Oh, anyway, I'm remembering a time in Mathura where Gurudev had just finished speaking a little bit about the Ritvik philosophy, and he called it Kacha philosophy, which, you know, literally means garbage. But he explained it more that this philosophy is like when faith has been broken, like a clay pot, and you're taking the pieces and you're gluing them together to try to make a new pot, but it will never hold water. It will just fall through, you know. So he was, you know, like that. So I was so impressed with his simple analogy that when he was going from where he had speaking, going up the stairs to his room, and I was kind of a little bit ahead actually. I saw him coming up and I said, Srila Gurudev, may you live for 100 years. And he looked at me very seriously. He said, please do not curse me in this way. Like that. How am I doing for time, Prabhu?
Jiva Prabhu, you've got a minute left.
All right. I have some other memories, but I will bow out here. I'm going to try.
We'll bring you back, Prabhu.
I just want to finish with, if I can, I want to read a very short offering. It's not long at all. And here it is. It says like this. Oh, Gurudev, today a memory of you came to me like the night queen jasmine and the scent of the early morning Parijata flower in Vrindavan. I miss your crooked smile, which always confirmed that surely you know something I do not know. I miss your broken English, like Krishna's sweet flute song, entering the portholes of my ears and dancing in the courtyard of my heart. Your words, like an expert artist brush, painted the beautiful pastimes of Shri Radha and Krishna in my heart and dazzled me with the ecstatic Leela of Mahaprabhu. Like the cool mist of rain, you revived this parched soul wandering in the desert of material life. I remember what you whispered in my ear, and I want to tell everyone, but I can't for fear that I will lose it like camphor exposed to the wind. So I keep it locked safely in my heart as you caution. When you whispered in my ear at that time, I knew you knew everything about me. I knew what I had to do and how. I feared my inabilities, but I was assured by your guiding hand and patience. Somehow, It was all confirmed by Srila Prabhupada as well. So mystical, so much achieved with so few words. Now, although you are gone from my mortal vision, I hear you whispering in my ear again. I am excited, tearful, assured, and yet still so frustrated with myself. But then, like looking at Shyamurani's painting, I get a glimpse of who you really are, where you are, and what you are doing. Have I been invited? Oh, Gurudev, if so, when will that day be mine? The scent of the celestial garden just got stronger. Oh, Srila Gurudev, oh, Srila Prabhupada, oh, glorious Parampara. Thank you so much. Dasanadas, Jiva Pavanadas, Hare Krishna. So, thank you for inviting me, Prabhus. And at the risk of being offensive, I promise to rejoin Kishori and Sudevi in India as soon as possible so that I can post the song so that the devotees who are following them could continue. So, Vanchakalpa Truviyascha Kripa Sindhavi Vishapitanam Pavani Vaisnavas Namo Namaha. Hare Krishna.
Even Pavan Prabhu, thank you so much. That the memories that you've shared and that offering that you've just given to Srila Gurudev, I don't think in a million years I would be able to offer anything that you're able to offer like that. It's so beautiful, and I'm just praying that actually that mood that you have for Srila Gurudev and Srila Prabhupada enters my heart. And you're right, in the sense that when you were talking about when Gurudev pointed to your heart and his heart, they're non-different. He's sitting there with you, for sure. You can see it, because the qualities of Sri Guru, no, it's true. The qualities of Sri Guru manifest in their disciples, and you can see it. So I'm just very fortunate to be in your Sangha. And I think many of us are very fortunate to have you around and guiding us, especially those that are from the UK. We're really, really fortunate. So thank you so much for sharing. And hopefully we'll bring you back to share some more memories with us, if that's okay.
Hare Krishna, Vanchakalpa Truviyascha Kripa Sindhavi Vishapitanam Ananta Koti Vaishnavrinda Ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Hare.
We're going to be doing a lot of traveling now. We're going to be going over to the east coast of America. And then after that, we're going to be going to New Zealand and then back to the UK. So we traveled the whole world today. We're very, very happy. We had to do a little bit of persuading because she's a little shy. But I'm so happy to welcome our next, I was going to say our next contestant, our next speaker, our next offerer. Bhanu, I always call her Bhanu. Her full name is Bhanumati Dasi, who's married to Raghava Pandit. And I've known Bhanu for many, many years. And there are so many things I could say about her. But one thing I want to share with you is that even though she, like many of us, came to devotional life when we were adults, she was really born a devotee. Her whole heart is totally ripe in devotion. And she exemplifies for me how to not just show respect, how to show genuine affection through action with fellow people, whether they be devotees or not. I've never seen her anything other than totally imbuing what she does with other human beings in a devotional way. And it's very inspiring and heart-melting. And I've stayed many times in her house, in their house. And one measure I always have of how welcome I feel in the house is if I feel I can go to the fridge and open it and take anything I want without any sense of worry, then I know that the person who's hosting me is very generous. And I tell you, she's incredible like that. So very, very happy to be going over to Connecticut and listen to Bhanu's beautiful offering. Hari Bol, Bhanu, welcome. It's quite early there, right?
Hare Krishna, Hari Bol. Thank you so much for that very sweet opening to describe Yashodanandan Das. All I can say is I'm giving you the hugest bear hug right now because I miss those so much. As I'd like to offer those hugs back to everyone here. Thank you so much. I'll just say my prayers. Om Agyan Timarandasya Gyananja Salakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Nama. Namo Vishnu Padaya Radhika Priyatmane Shri Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayana Iti Namine Vanchakalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivasari Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. I offer my whole being to my beautiful Diksha Guru, Srila Bhaktivedanta Narayan Maharaj, and I offer my Dandavat Pranams to all of your beautiful souls here today. Thank you so much for allowing me to speak something on my memories of Srila Gurudev. But I'd like to just go back now to all of to the beginning of where it all began. So connecting the dots, if you don't mind, I'd like to go before I even met Gurudev. So thank you to my Patni Dev for, rescuing me and bringing me to this path. But even before I met him, I'd like to say that Gurudev was finding me before I even knew. So from a very young age, I thought, I've been here before. Why doesn't everyone see that we need to understand love? What is it? There's so much discomfort, and why can't we just see that it's just about love? So I used to write in my journal, dear God, please help me understand how to share love, how to understand love, how to live love. How can I do this? So in my journals, begging. Then I met so many wonderful people on my path. First of all, my loving family I need to thank them for always supporting me on anything that I ever do, also with Krishna consciousness. But my friends who guided me to go on the journey of finding about love, one of them brought me to Govinda's in Eugene, Oregon in the early 90s and said, you've got to try this. Food is so good. And being the foodie that I am, I was like, oh yeah, let's do it. What is it? Show me. And so this giant buffet at Govinda's was just, first of all, I mean, I can't describe to you how I was just blown away by how good the food was. So anyway, jump. We always went to Govinda's. We had so much fun, so much laughter, so much joy. And then one day my friend came to me, one of my very close friends said, guess what? I am babysitting for this new lady, Swati, who's a Hare Krishna person, and she wants me to dive in with her. So I was like, oh, that's great. No idea what she's talking about. But so, slowly, she had her little altar with Prabhupada, and then she was offering foods, and she was inviting me to honor with her.
What age?
I think we were 22 or 23, and something like that. Anyway, she she was not the best cook. So sometimes the rice was crunchy. Sometimes her lasagna was so hot, spicy that I couldn't even eat it. But because she was offering with so much love and she would tell me why the offering is so important, I would honor it with her. So I would anyhow, seeds. So I would hang out with her, and then sometimes I would help out at the Golden Avatar food booth with her at local festivals and things like that. Sometimes I would go to programs, but slowly she started to shut us out because we were not paka. We were not following like with her. And so that was confusing for me. And we started moving slowly apart because I wasn't following like her. Anyhow, time, she was less on the path and then came back to us. But anyhow, life happens. We move, we are doing different things. I moved to New York, I moved to Singapore, And guess what? Dancing at a nightclub, guess who I meet? Raghava.
King of the dance floor.
dancing. One of my best friends' games, we would say, you meet 3 people, I meet 3 people, let's introduce each other and, have fun. So I'm Dutch Indonesian, Raghava is Dutch. My friend met Raghava and said, where are you from? He came back to me, said, go say something Dutch to him. So here I am, like dancing away. I come over to him. I'm like, hey, hoe gaat het ermee in Dutch? And then, well, that was it. So from then on, Raghava was like pursuing me. Why? I'm thinking that he's pursuing me for, those reasons. But actually, we know now he was pursuing me to meet Gurudev. Yeah. So time goes on, we figure out we have a lot in common, we have a lot of great background stories to share. But Raghava and I went on vacation to Bali. And by the way, he was not like in a sangha where I was meeting people. He was just telling me stories. This was the time where his Leela was to find me and bring me to Gurudev. So he was in that world, trying to get me. And so anyway, the Leela brought us to Bali, and we met somebody in the airport, and he's saying, he said, oh, you're here to see Gurudev. And Raghava had no idea. And so he was like, hey, do you want to go to the temple? I was like, sure, let's do it. And so we go to the temple, and it is so beautiful. It is so colorful, but I was an outsider. So for me, thought I was watching something very National Geographic. And I was like, wow, this is cool, but not for me. I was like, wow, they're so interesting. Anyhow, the people were incredible. All the beautiful faces that you all know. I'm too shy and forgetful right this minute to name everyone, but everyone was so inviting.
Like
Tungavidya, Vrinda, Anupama, Gokul, of course, Brajana, and Madhav Maharaj, of course. And anyhow, I was asking Vrinda if I could help wash the dishes, because I'm used to that in my family. We have all the gatherings and, everyone helps out. And she was like, oh, no, that's okay. So I was like, okay, well, I'm just going to walk around the temple. And anyhow, so I'm walking around the temple, letting him catch up with all his friends. And guess who I see? Can anyone guess? I walk around the temple and I get private darshan with Gurudev.
Hello.
And I was like, hi. No idea. So there he penetrated my heart, obviously. He looked at me, I looked at him. He did, this, how he does. And we were just standing there for like, I don't know, it seemed like an eternity to me because I couldn't believe it. I was like, what am I supposed to do? And here he is looking. And so then he goes back into his room and I was like, what just happened? And no one was there. No one was around me. So I walked around the temple a couple times saying, what just happened? Anyhow, so time goes on. We leave our vacation. We say goodbye to everyone. Beautiful experience. But still, it didn't grab me to say, hey, let's go to the temple. And, Raghava, again, was in his Leela to be with me. And so 6 years go by, everyone. 6 years go by. I don't know what you call it. And then we're now in Holland, by the way. So we moved from Bali and now we're in Holland and we're working jobs, partying, doing all the things. And and so Raghava, we get a call on the home phone and it's Gokul Das and Anupama. What year? 2007. And it's Gokul. explaining who he is and said he met me in Bali. I said, of course, I remember. Yes, how wonderful. And he said, we're going on a world tour. We're going to go to Badger. And then we have to make a stop because of our ticket in Europe. And well, we're going to the German festival. So we would like to stay at your house if we can. I was like, of course, you come. And well, they came and we had so much fun. They were so beautiful. Again, so inviting, so lovely. At my home, they were like making me feel more comfortable with life and everything, and encouraged us to go to Germany to see Gurudev. Well, I said, oh my goodness, well, you have to go. And I thought, oh, look at me. I'm encouraging Raghava to go see his guru and his friends. Oh, supporting him to go see his guru. Well, when we arrived, once again, everyone like showered him with love, but also me with so much love. And in fact, what is her name? Who came to me and said, oh,
Vichitra.
everybody knows Vichitra, right? She's whacked me on my rear end when we're on Parikram. I mean, she's wild, that woman. I love her. Anyway, but when I saw her, she was like, oh, you've come, because I saw her in Bali. Oh, you've come because you realize in your heart that this is the only way to exit samsara. And I was like, what is samsara? And so she described to me, oh, to get out of this cycle of birth and death. And by the way, when I'm writing in my journals, when I was 10, I was like, isn't it crazy, this world? But can it be my last time here? So again, this is like the memory of past lives and what have you. And so when she said that, the light bulb was like, pew, pew, pew. And I thought, okay. So it went from me thinking, oh, liberation for me. But again, the twist, Gurudev is so expert. The twist is no, not liberation for me, liberation from my material mind to come and be the eternal servant who I should be and get reacquainted with that, to be the eternal servant of Krishna. And so when I found this message out, I went straight to his feet. And again, he imbued me with this feeling of that I am an eternal servant. So from then on in Germany, I was as close to him as I could possibly be. Again, meeting all the beautiful people. And then we left Germany, and we decided when we got back to Holland that we need to go back to Germany because we only stayed one night. So then we stayed for the rest of the festival. But the best part was that not only being with Gurudev and Raghava, meeting everyone, Dear Krishna, does anyone know Dear Krishna? He asked for a ride back to Holland. And so we were like, yes, of course. And then we didn't realize we were dropping him off at Shashikala's house, Ananga Mohini's family. And guess who arrived 5 minutes later? Gurudev. And guess what? We had private foot washing darshan experience with the family, Brajanath Madhav Maharaj. There was only like a handful of people there. So my gosh, my good fortune. Cut to the chase. I mean, so many, that week we had so many incredible darshans, but also programs. But then one day he had a private darshan with me and Raghava. And he said, do you love Raghava? And I looked at him like this. I didn't know what to say. I said, sometimes. And he said, he started laughing and he said, oh, the Western fickle mind. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. It's very difficult for the Western mind to be focused. So many divorce, so many from here and there to everywhere. And he said, with my books, with my teachings, you can become more fixed. And so in this way, he again imparted more connection for me to get connected and get on the path. Anyhow, there's so many more things I want to say. Let me just, if you don't mind, go to my notes.
No, because we're getting one of
Yeah. So then, thank you very much. So then there were many programs just with the devotees after he left, but I had, he had asked us to come to Kartik naturally, and we both said, yes, we will do our best. Of course, no Lakshmi, you know, so how are we going to do it? So of course, he gave me more sales in my job, and it was bam, we had the tickets. So of course it's all meant to be everything like this. So he's very magical that way. And but so important, he came to me in a dream, and he said to me, I was at a party in the dream, and somebody said, you have a phone call from Gurudev, he's on the phone, but he was actually downstairs on the phone. So I got on the phone, he said, Vanamali, you know, I didn't have my name yet, I wasn't initiated. He just said, are you done with the party? And I said, oh, yes, Gurudev, I'm done with the party. He said, come and see me. So immediately I went down and I saw him, and I was at his feet. So that was one thing that, a dream, right? That was a dream that came to me. But it was so real, it was so true, that I know that that was the moment that that I surrendered, and without knowing. And you know, cut to India. We now arrived to India. We came late. We're in the food prasadam hall in Govardhan, and we see who? Brajanath. So there's no one else there. It's just me, Brajanath, and Ragi, and they give us some leftover prasadam. And Brajanath said to me, do you believe in God? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, tomorrow, take shelter of Gurudev. And I have no idea. He said, go get ready for initiation. I was like, I don't even know what that means. And he said, just do it. Just do it. So then I had Shashikala from India, you know, Shashikala, from France, who's living in India. So Gurudev instructed her, or Brajanath instructed her to help me. By the way, we were staying in a very small, dark room down the street from Govardhan. I had a mirror that was this big. I've only put on a sari once in my life in the bathroom at my workplace, because in Indian, I was like, hey, maybe I should get a sari. And so one of my friends who was Indian gave it to me. She showed me how to do it in 5 minutes. I put the sari on in the dark with the little mirror, with like a little, I don't even know how I put it on. And then Shashikala put my tilak on, and then she also got the offering together with me. And then before you knew it, I was at Gurudev's feet. So
you have to, that was yesterday.
So guess what? That was on Diwali. So I was my spiritual birthday is Diwali, which is amazing. So that's that's crazy. And my name is Bhanumati, so that's also crazy. And so anyhow, then I'm jumping into seva, like, how can I serve? How can I serve? I'm now initiated. How can I serve? Okay, so I'm in the room with all Chinese people when I'm getting initiated, and it's so cute. Gurudev is so cute. Anyway.
Bhanumati Didi, you're gone back onto mute for some reason.
Oh yeah, okay. All right, here we go. Yeah, sorry about that. So anyhow, it's very sweet. The whole experience is amazing, but here I am doing seva, and I'm running here and there and everywhere trying to get Prabhupada's, just everything. And I'm learning fast, and I know nothing. So at one point I'm in the row waiting to see Gurudev when he's coming to the hall, and I throw myself down at his feet, and all of a sudden I get up and I look at him, and something shifted in my beingness, where I can say it's like a chemical reaction. It was so strong when he looked into me that, like, I'm having bumps right now, because I know that was the moment that he changed me. I mean, he made a physical change, not only spiritual, but physical. He knocked stuff out of my system, into my system. It was so intense that I called my mom immediately and said, I don't know what just happened, Mim. I call her Mim, but I think something is going to change and help not only me, but our family and anyone I meet. I don't know why I'm saying this. I don't know where this is coming from. And my mom was like, bring it on. And I said, okay, gotta go. Bam. And from then on, it was like Shakti craziness, because from then on, Raghava had a meeting with Brajana, and then they were going to make the Pure Bhakti website. And guess where? At our house. And guess what? 3 monks are going to stay with us. And Raghava said, is that okay? I said, I guess, why not? And they, not for 1 week or 2 weeks, but for 3.5 months at my house. And we both work full-time jobs. I was like, oh my God, this is crazy. What's happening? And so I just had like,
1 minute.
oh, I have 1 minute. Okay. Yep. 2 minutes to go. Okay. So long story short, we have so many incredible devotees staying with us, incredible experiences. And my workplace gets involved with the charities for the school in Vrindavan, in Navadvip. And guess what? My office of 300 people, extended office of like 1,000, get not only the prasadam of Vrindavan and Navadvip, because we're constantly raising awareness in my office. Gurudev inspired us to do potlucks. So we had vegetarian potlucks that turned vegan, that turned so much distribution of Kitchen of Love with Yashoda Nandan. Oh my gosh, if it wasn't for Yashoda coming and being such a bear at our house and exploring ideas of how to spread Krishna consciousness, we wouldn't have Kitchen of Love, and so much more. Hare Krishna. Gurudev was an amazing heart that guides us and is a force that is constantly melting all of our hearts. And Gurudev, thank you so much for bringing Raghava Pandit Das to me, because he breaks down all my nonsense daily, and I wouldn't be able to do it without you. Hare Krishna. Vanchakalpa Turubhyascha. Sindhu Evacha.
Sometimes for somehow through the presence of Guru, it's like we're on Zoom, but we're really closer to each other than even we could be physically, by sharing Gurudev's pastimes. So beautiful, Bhanu. Thank you.
Yashodananda Prabhu, can I just say one thing?
Oh, yeah.
Happy birthday, Bhanumati Didi. I hope you're having a super amazing day. That is such a thing. I think all of us are wishing you a super happy birthday.
Hare Krishna.
You didn't tell us the most important bit. You didn't tell us what Raghava's dance moves were like.
He owned the floor.
It's so beautiful, because I remember, I can bookend this story because I met Raghava in 1996. He stayed at my house. For how long were you with me, Raghi? It was beautiful.
Maybe 2 months or.
Yeah. That was just so many nice pastimes there, Bhanu. Thank you so much. I feel like you're about 9 years old when you speak in your innocence. It's so lovely. It's really beautiful. So heartfelt. And particularly when that time, what year was it that you felt that you said like a chemical reaction? What year was that?
2007.
Yeah, that was amazing. I felt like Kladini Shakti, intense, beautiful.
That was life-changing. I was smoking, drinking, partying, and everything came to a halt, and it was so easy. And the transition of sharing it with all my friends who were like, whoa, where are you going? What are you doing? They all came with us. They were at our programs. They supported me so much. I just have to say this one thing. They supported me so much that when I read one of Gurudev's books, he was saying in the book, I can't remember which one, I'm so sorry. Even if somebody sees the toe of Krishna they will become liberated and it will do good for them. So I would tell the story, I would tell these things, whatever I would hear, even though it was probably wrong, I would share it with my friends. And so they would help me. So I had pictures, I had an altar at my desk at work, and they would say, no, you have to position it so that they can see even the toe of Krishna, so that they can get liberated. I don't know if that was the word, I guess what I was saying, but it's the benefit, that they will get benefit, anyone who passes by. And guess what? The little cards, the Hare Krishna cards that Raghava had printed, I had them all over the office. And what was the song that was played for the whole of the laureate? Remember, you put together that?
Well, you have to tell it. There's a bit more to the story, but
I know.
We need to move on.
We need to move on. Okay.
Yeah. But the lesson for me is that although Gurudev said you're done with the party, he took you to a different party.
He took me to a different
like we're not going to a party, we're going to a way better party.
Way better party. So it was so fun and easy.
So we're going to go to another party now over in New Zealand. Thank you so much. We have another must be the husband and wife couple program today, because we have Priya, Didi and Vanamali Prabhu from New Zealand. So it's just gone it's 2:15 in the morning in New Zealand. So, and they've already been in the program for nearly an hour. They look like they've been up all day. No problem. Beautiful. So just a little introduction. I think Priya, Didi, you're going first, yeah? Oh, he's going first. We better. Who am I introducing first? Vanamali Prabhu. Okay, you'll go first. So Vanamali Prabhu, he came to Krishna Conscious, came to ISKCON in 1979 in Melbourne. And he met our beloved Srila Gurudev in 1999 and was initiated by Gurudev in 2000. And I believe has done some lots of editing seva. And we're very, very happy and honored and very, very thankful that you are getting up so early in the morning. I don't even know if you've been to bed. So please, we're excited to hear your offering, Prabhu. Haribol.
Hare Priya Didi, we just need to unmute. Sorry. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Prabhu. Thank you for inviting us to speak. That's very kind of you. It's wonderful to have your association and to share some of our memories and of Srila Gurudev. So we were very fortunate. Originally, we first saw Srila Gurudev in 1991. Gurudev would come to the Krishna Balaram Mandir in Vrindavan on Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day, and he would speak there. And I remember very little about what he said. I remember it was very nice, and it was wonderful, and he looked very, like an amazing personality. And then in 1993, we were back in Vrindavan again on Srila Prabhupada's disappearance day. And at that time, Srila Bhakti Pramod Puri Maharaj and Bhakti Vaibhav Puri Maharaj were both there in Vrindavan, and they were at the Krishna Balaram Mandir for Prabhupada's disappearance day. And then Gurudev was also there. So I remember very clearly that both the Puri Maharajas were there. And then Gurudev came in, and I was very taken by the way Gurudev interacted with them. It was just so wonderful to see the Vaishnava Sadachar of Srila Gurudev, the example of how he was respecting them, and the example of his humility was very, very deeply profound. It was quite an amazing thing to see, because it was something that was real. You could see when Gurudev came and Gurudev offered his obeisances to them, had garlands for them. He was touching their feet. but it was something, not just an external display of etiquette, but it was something that was completely heartfelt. It was something that was completely very, very deep, and it was really, really touching. It was something that I remember very, very clearly because it was so profound. It was such an amazing experience. It was something that was real, and this is, of course, what we're all looking for in our spiritual life. Srila BhaktiSiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada, in his book, The Teachings of Lord Chaitanya, he talks like this, that the only thing that can move the soul towards Krishna, all the knowledge in the material world, everything, all different types of aspects of material knowledge, cannot move the Jiva 1 inch towards the lotus feet of Krishna. But this manifestation of the Swarup Shakti is the only thing that can actually move the soul towards Krishna. It's the only thing that can touch the soul and can move the soul towards Krishna. And therefore the soul, the Jiva, is always looking for something real. He's always looking for a real experience. And for me, this was the first real experience that I've had in Krishna consciousness, was seeing Srila Gurudev and the way that he was interacting with these great exalted Vaisnavas. You have the deity, of course, is there, is also a manifestation, internal manifestation of Krishna, Tulsi Devi. You have the Dham, all these different, you have the holy name, all these different aspects are there, but there's none is the same as seeing the form of Sri Guru, this external manifestation of the Swarup Shakti of Radha's compassionate mercy in the form of the Guru. Very, very potent manifestation, and it had a deep effect on my heart. So of course, the Gurudev spoke, and I remember very little about what he said. I wasn't qualified at all to understand anything that he was saying at that time. So then, in 1999, when we had the opportunity to actually meet Gurudev, then I was very, very excited about this. This was something real. I thought, wow, yes, this is something that's going to be really amazing. So we drove, we were living in New South Wales at the time. We drove down to Melbourne, perhaps outside of Melbourne, where Gurudev was visiting there for a few days. And we arrived there on Lord Nityananda's appearance day, and Gurudev was giving class from Srila Prabhupada's Chaitanya Charitamrita. So he was speaking about how Lord Nityananda was Akhanda Guru Tattva Mula, the root of Akhanda Guru Tattva, and explained the Akhanda Guru Tattva. He went into great detail about Guru Tattva. And I was amazed because I'd read the Chaitanya Charitamrita many times, and I thought I had an understanding of who Lord Nityananda was. But Gurudev was just, he had Prabhupada's books, and he was just bringing out all of these different jewels out of Prabhupada's books and holding them up, saying, hey, look at this, you see this, you see this, you understand this, you understand this. It was amazing. It was like, we've heard this so many times, how Gurudev just was opening the door to Prabhupada's books, was giving us a deeper understanding of what was in Prabhupada's books. Prabhupada said, everything is in my books, but what understanding did we have of this? And Prabhupada, he points out very early in the Srimad Bhagavatam how there is a book Bhagavat and a person Bhagavat, and the person Bhagavat is more important than the book Bhagavat, because without that person Bhagavat, we can't understand the book Bhagavat. So Gurudev was giving me at that point in time, this realization that here is the person Bhagavat who can open up the book Bhagavat, can show us the nectar that's there within these books. And I was really blown away, and straight away, because we'd heard so many different things, of course. Oh, be careful about Narayan Maharaj, you hear so many different things in our previous Sangha. So therefore there was some trepidation there, some cynicism, I suppose, within the heart, because the heart becomes a little cynical when it doesn't have good association. So that immediately I understood, well, Gurudev, he understands the Shastra inside and outside. He's very deeply understanding the Vaishnava Shastra. But still, I was a little bit of trepidation there within the heart. So, of course, being a conditioned soul, a Kanishta, and so puffed up in my attitude, I thought, that's okay. I can suss this person out very easily. So And when I was sitting there and I was looking at Gurudev thinking, yes, I can suss this person and I can see where he's actually at. And I was looking into Gurudev's eyes, and it was like, you know, the example is given when you walk down to the bank of the ocean and you're looking out at the ocean and you see how vast is the ocean and you feel very insignificant. And for me, it was even more like an ant on the side of a building. It was like an ant looking at a building. How can you comprehend the depth of the building, the height of the building, the width of the building? It was, I was completely out of my depth. I was completely bewildered just looking into Gurudev's eyes. And then I got the realization that Gurudev was looking back at me. And the more I was realizing that I had no understanding of who Gurudev was, Gurudev knew exactly who I was. He was seeing me. And again, this was one of those things that it was the first time in my life I could understand that someone was looking and someone was seeing me. He was seeing me for who I really was. And of course, that's very frightening. It was like, oh my God, I've been busted. Because I have this abhiman, this conception of who I am, and as I'm a devotee, and I know this and I know that, and so many things. But then in the association of Gurudev, everything was just blown away. Everything, all that false ego, all that falseness was just taken away in a moment. So it was very scary, but at the same time, there was this compassionate potency and mercy that was coming from Srila Gurudev. There was so much love that was emanating from Srila Gurudev at that time. That was like, yes, I know who you are. I can see who you are. I understand who you are, and that's all right, because I'm here to help you. I'm here to actually help you to become a devotee, to actually understand who you really are. So there was that feeling of, it's okay, it's all right. I accept you for who you are. And that was one of the great aspects of knowing Srila Gurudev, that Gurudev accepted us for who we are, and he wanted us to be who we are. He didn't want us to be anything, to have any falsity about ourselves, to have any false conception that we were someone that we weren't. He just wanted us to be who we are, and he accepted us who we are, and that was a wonderful thing. I remember one of my at one time, one of my friends, he was just very new to Krishna consciousness, and he wanted to take shelter of Srila Gurudev. He wanted to take Harinam from Srila Gurudev. This was in Australia. So we went to see Srila Gurudev, and my friend was a very honest person. So he was saying to Srila Gurudev, oh, Srila Gurudev, I want to take Harinam from you, but you should know that sometimes I'm smoking a cigarette, sometimes I'm drinking a little this, a little that, So he was revealing his heart to Srila Gurudev, that all of his faults and all of his problems that he was having in life, that he really wanted to take Harinam from Srila Gurudev. So, and then he left the room, and Srila Gurudev, he turned to me and said, what do you think? And I said, well, Gurudev, I said, you're Gurudev. I said, you know everything. And he said, yes. He said, but I want to know what you think. And I said, well, Srila Gurudev, all I know is that he has a good heart. And Gurudev said, yes. He said, this is what we're looking for. We're looking for those people with good hearts. He said, this is a qualification. So this was Gurudev's mood. Gurudev's mood is always that it's a heart-to-heart relationship. It is not just simply an external ritual that we perform. Diksha is not an external ritual that we perform. Diksha is an internal heart-to-heart relationship between the guru and the disciple. So this was, again, what Gurudev was teaching in so many different ways. He was teaching, okay, Vaishnava Sarachars, Vaishnava etiquette is very, very important. We have to have the proper attitude towards the Vaishnavas. We have to have the proper humility. We have to have the proper service attitude towards the Vaishnavas. We have to have a proper understanding. And if we have this proper mood and understanding towards the Vaishnavas, then we can understand what is in the Shastra. We can understand the depth of the Shastra. And we can begin to see that actually there is more than just a superficial understanding of what is Krishna consciousness, that it goes so much deeper than that. Krishna consciousness is such a deep thing. And of course, then Gurudev introduced us to the Dham. Gurudev took us to the Dham. We've been to the Dham so many times, but we've never really been to the Dham until we went to Srila Gurudev. Because Srila Gurudev was a resident of the Dham. The Dham was his home. It wasn't just some again, an external manifestation that we could go to. And as a tourist, it was something that Gurudev was inviting us into. You have to be invited into the Dham. You can't just gate crash the Dham, just rock up to the Dham and think, oh, Krishna will accept me here. You have to be invited to the Dham. And because Gurudev is such an intimate associate of Radha Krishna, so it gives us Gurudev's personal abode. So going to the Dham with Srila Gurudev was a completely different experience. It was entering not only into the physical manifestation of the Dham, but into the mood of the Dham, where we could understand. Gurudev would tell us, oh, here, this is what happened, this is what happened. But he would also explain the mood of what happened. And he would put within our hearts the mood. This is what Gurudev was manifesting for us. That this is the mood of the Dham. This is what happened here, but this was the mood. This is what Radha was thinking. This is what Krishna was thinking. This is what the gopis were thinking. This was Gurudev's eternal, or is Gurudev's eternal home. One time when I was in Govardhan with Srila Gurudev in 2007, this was before Kartik, and Hari Priya was here. She was in Australia, and she was painting. She was doing a painting of Radha and Krishna, where Krishna is decorating Radha's hair. So while she was painting this particular Leela, she kept seeing, or
I was thinking that maybe there was butterflies.
Thinking about butterflies. She was thinking, oh, in this scene, it's such a beautiful scene. Krishna's there by the banks of the Jamuna, and it's such a beautiful grove, and he's putting flowers in his hair, and she kept thinking of these butterflies being in that Leela. And so she sent me an email, oh, please ask Gurudev if there are any butterflies in this Leela. So as we were on morning walk, and yeah, as we know, on Gurudev's morning walk, when walking, no talking, so we would walk down from the temple, and then Gurudev would stop, and then we would ask some questions, and then we would walk a little further, and then we would stop again, and more questions and more speaking, and then like this. So on this particular morning walk, I thought, okay, I have to ask Gurudev if there are any butterflies in this Leela. So we stopped and I asked Gurudev, oh, Gurudev, you know, Hari Priya is doing this painting of this Leela, and she's singing of butterflies. So are there any butterflies in this Leela? So Gurudev stood there for a moment, he closed his eyes, and you could see that he actually went there. He closed his eyes and he entered into that Leela. You could see, it was like he just left where we were and he went to that Leela. Then after a few seconds, he opened his eyes again and he said, no, he said, there are no butterflies there. So this is the glories of such a Sadguru, that he is allowing us to enter into his world. He is giving us a taste, even though, because speaking for myself, my own heart is hard like a rock and not able to absorb what Gurudev was trying to give. But he was sprinkling this nectar upon us and hoping that something actually sticks within our consciousness. So we were so very fortunate that we had these opportunities. There's so many different stories, but Gurudev was always very accepting. He accepted us as we were, and he loved us as we were. And one time I asked Gurudev, oh, you know, what service would you like me to do, or like us to do for you, you know? And Gurudev said, just bring me flowers. Of course, Gurudev was referring to the hearts of the Jivas.
I thought you would say, I was thinking, oh, I've got lots of flowers in the garden.
Oh, easy peasy, Gurudev. Just go outside, pick some flowers. We can do that, no problem. The Gurudev was referring to the hearts of others. So please bring the hearts of others. This is Gurudev's mercy. Once, again, down in Melbourne, after the first time when we met Gurudev, the second day that we were there, Gurudev was giving Mandarshan. There was one devotee there who had become very bitter due to previous association. And Gurudev said the most beautiful thing. We're sitting there, and Gurudev said, he said, your previous guru, he said, he took your heart and he tasted it for himself. He said, but real guru will never do this. He said, real guru, he will take your heart and he'll offer it to Radha Krishna Yugal. He said, this is the qualification of guru, that he's only wants to take your heart and offer it to Krishna. He doesn't want to enjoy, he wants to give everything to Krishna. This was Gurudev's absolute, complete mercy upon all living entities. He was so merciful. He could relate to every person. Anyone who came to Gurudev could relate to them, and he could enter their heart. We know that when Guru speaks, then along with that instruction that the Guru gives as a seed of the potency to be able to carry out that instruction, he gives this Sambit Shakti, which enters the heart of the living entity when the living entity is listening to his Harikatha. And this changes the heart of the living entity. It turns Gan into Vigan, gives us some understanding of who Krishna is, of who the Jiva is, of who the Guru is. What is the relationship between the Jiva and the Guru, between the Jiva and Krishna? All these things manifest so completely in the association of such a pure and wonderful Vaishnava Srila Gurudev. I'm constantly, every day, I'm just thinking how fortunate we were to come in the association of such a wonderful, wonderful person. He was so loving and so friendly. Gurudev was never standoffish, or it was always so easily approachable. And he has such a fantastic sense of humor. One time when we were staying in Australia, Gurudev wanted to come and visit our house. So it's a long story. I'll just say a little bit. Harry Priya can maybe elaborate a little bit more. But I went down Brajanath Rang and said, "Oh, Gurudev wants to come to visit your house now." So, oh, okay. So we had a Lada. I don't know if you know a Lada. It's a Russian car, very small car. So I drove down to where Gurudev was staying. So Gurudev came out, and there was Brajanath Prabhu and Sripad Madhav Maharaj and Puru Prabhu. I don't know if you know Puru Prabhu.
From America.
From America.
Yeah.
He's passed now, but he is a rather robust character. He was rather on the large side. So the car was very small. So Gurudev got on the front, and then Brajanath Prabhu got in the back, and then Madhav Maharaj got in the back. And then
There's only two door.
It's only a two-door car. Prabhu was trying to get in the back, and it's very, very squashed. So he's trying to get in and push himself in. I couldn't close the door, couldn't get the seat back so he could get in. And Gurudev's laughing, and I'm laughing, and everyone's laughing in the back. And Gurudev turns around and he said, "You can't come." And Prabhu says, "Why? Why?" And Gurudev says, "Because you're too fat." And Prabhu's like completely determined, "No, I must come, I must come." So he's squashing in, and the car's rocking because everyone's just laughing and laughing so much. The whole little car's rocking backwards and forwards, and Gurudev was just laughing so much. It was just so amazing. Gurudev was such a beautiful character, such a wonderful person. We're so blessed to have him in our lives. I know my time is now up, so I want to thank Gurudev for all the mercy he's given, and for giving me the association of such wonderful, wonderful devotees. This is a real blessing of Srila Gurudev, that he's given us such a wonderful Sangha to associate with such beautiful devotees as yourselves. Thank you very much.
That was really beautiful. There's a thread there right from the beginning to the end where you said about how the Jiva is looking for something real, and how Gurudev is all about the heart. And then you talked about the mood of Vrindavan, how you can't access Braj unless you're anugat to Gurudev, and then how he gave everything that we give him to Krishna. All of this is just one theme of taking us back home. It's so beautiful. Thank you so much. It's 1:40, and I've just realized from a technical point of view, those going into the Kartik program can't access that program unless we're finished, because it's all on my Zoom account and I can't run two Zoom meetings at the same time. So what I suggest we do is I'll hand over to Hari Priya in just 1 second. If you could go until 5:02, Hari Priya, sorry to give you 5 minutes less. And then we just do some mantras instead of Kirtan to sign off. And then we can go into the Kartik room. Otherwise, there'll be lots of people waiting there, confused as to what's happening. I've asked Manjulari to send out a message, Yashadari, to let everyone know what's going on. So I'll be very quick on the intro. Hari Priya, again, thank you so much for joining us at well, actually, it's a very godly hour, not an ungodly hour. Hari Priya came to Krishna consciousness in Christchurch, New Zealand in 1983. And she also came to Gurudev with her husband in 1999 and got initiated in 2000. I asked her for something about her devotional past. She's too modest to tell me anything, but on the sly, I managed to find out that she's an expert and brilliant painter and has rendered a lot of seva with Shamrani in that regard. So I did a bit of sneak detective work. So over to you, my dear. Thank you so much for joining us.
Just let me know when you want me to stop.
Okay.
Okay. Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Radhika Srimad Bhaktivedanta Narayani Tanamni Vanchakalpa Trupishcha Kripasindavi Vachara Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavyo Namo Jai Shri Gurudev. I pray for the mercy that I can speak nicely. I mean, you can always speak nicely about Gurudev because Gurudev is so nice. But yes, before I was previously in ISKCON, and it got to the stage that I wasn't satisfied anymore, and I was doing so much service that I was finding it very intense, and I was just praying and praying, please get me out of here. I would need more. I need more for my spiritual life. And it just so happened that just something fell apart, and we were sort of kicked out. and we met some of Gurudev's disciples, and we started going to the programs, and like my husband spoke, we actually were going to see Gurudev in Melbourne in Australia in 1998, but our car broke down, so we never got there. So in 1999, we, like Vanamali Prabhu said, that we got to meet Gurudev in 1999. And my impressions were, when we were listening to class, especially on Lord Nityananda's Parents' Day, the class must have gone about 2 or 3 hours. And I was completely blown away. I'm not philosophical at all, but just listening to Gurudev, I was just standing on edge, just listening to him. And I thought, when I was in the previous Sangha, I'd have to do something in class so I didn't fall asleep. So, but I was so wide awake, listening to everything that's being said, and even all the devotees that Gurudev got up to speak. It was just so enlivening. I just couldn't believe it. It was just so amazing. I thought, this is really different to what I'm used to. And it's just, I was so absorbed in listening to all the beautiful stories about Lord Nityananda that I'd never heard before, because we used to hear the same, same stories every year. Not that that's bad, but there was something totally more than what I'd heard before, and it was just complete nectar. And I was very fortunate because Vrindavan Vilasini and Shamarani were there, and Vrindavan Vilasini, she always tucks you under her arm and looks after you, and she was talking to me a lot and talking to me about Gurudev, and she said, "Oh, you want to go and have darshan with Gurudev?" So Vanamali and we went with a group of people, and we're sitting in the back, and she was pushing us forward as she usually does, and she introduced us, and Gurudev said, "Oh, very nice, and this is who is your guru," and we told him, and it's very nice, very good. And anyway, that was that for the first time. And then there was another, then a couple of days later before Gurudev left, we went for another darshan, this time sitting at the front, and she introduced us again. And for some reason or another, this amazing, something weird happened. I mean, anything, when you're around Gurudev, anything can happen. And she introduced it, and he said, and you know, introduced me, and this is Hare Priya, and I said, oh, and I said, please, can you help me? And I don't know where that came from. And he said, yes. He said, I can be your Shiksha Guru, and you can be my darling daughter. Do you want to be my darling daughter? I said, yes. I just don't know where that came from. And then he was standing on the side, and he said, me too. He didn't want to be his darling daughter, but you know. And anyway, that was the first time we had an exchange of Gurudev. So during the next year, because we didn't take initiation straight away. So during the first year, I wrote 4 letters to Gurudev. And the first one was telling him I didn't trust him and been cheated, and I don't know if I could surrender to anybody because my heart's been broken and I can't trust anyone. And of course, Gurudev sends this nice letter back to me, and he says, oh, do not fear, I will not cheat you. He says, I only want to take your pure sweet heart and offer it to Radha Krishna conjugal. And that was a good start. and then one time I gave it, in the same year, I'd written a poem for Srila Prabhupada's appearance day. And, you know, it's quite amazing because I'd never written to a guru before in my life. And I just, a couple of pages of all this mind stuff, you know. And anyway, I sent him this poem I'd written for Srila Prabhupada. And it was very sweet. He replied, and he said, I liked your poem very much. And he said, I feel that Swamiji has sent you to me. And I totally felt that because, you know, and when I was in Avasanga, I was feeling that Srila Prabhupada was actually sheltering me. I felt like he was holding my hand and protecting me from anything that was going on. And I felt, you know, because at the stage we had to chant Srila Prabhupada's pranams, which really brought me closer to Prabhupada, and I felt very protected. And with Gurudev saying that, I felt that was true. I felt like Srila Prabhupada was holding my hand and handing me over to Srila Gurudev, but they were both holding my hands at the same time. And so I felt the love from both of them. So anyway, by 2000, when he came again to Australia, and it was in Murwillumbah, we both had stopped chanting our Gayatri mantras, so we decided we'll go and we'll just ask for Shiksha from Gurudev. And we said, you know, wanted to take the Gayatri mantra. And he said, why don't take it from your other guru? And then Shamarani was with us, and of course she's very tuned in with everything. She said, oh, that's because I don't have any faith in him. And then we thought, oh my God, we don't. So anyway, he says, you know, if I do this, you have to give me something. And we we're quite sure what he was talking about. Thought maybe he wants some money. And he says, you have to give me your heart and you will not get it back. And so I thought, wow. So I said, so tomorrow you'll come and we'll give you the mantras. And funny thing is, he gave us our Gayatri first, and then when he came to where we lived, that's when we got Harinam. So it was a bit reversed. And but it was amazing because I knew I'd heard the word grave before, but I never knew what it meant. But when we were, the day leading up to our initiation with Gurudev, I realized what grave meant, because it was such a serious thing. Before it was just like, okay, you get a guru and you get a name. Hey, that's great. We're a devotee. But this was giving everything, your heart and soul, and taking a shelter of such a pure devotee is just, it's not an ordinary thing. Very, very important in our lives. And this is completely life-changing. So that was really, really beautiful, and felt so blessed to have Gurudev in our life. Now, over the years, I probably a couple of years, maybe maybe a year later, I really, really had this desire to do some service for Gurudev, and I wrote a letter to Gurudev, and I said, oh, you know, I'd like to do some service for you. What can I do for you? And he said, oh, you can help with publications. And I thought, huh? I don't know what to do in publications. So I said to Shamarani about it, because I was in contact with her. She said, I don't know, you don't know how to edit, do you? And I said, no. And so I kept asking him, and then he says, I can't remember, I've got it in my letters, but he said that I wanted to do some art. And I mean, I haven't never painted in my life. I'd only drawn from since I was a kid. I always copied things and that. And I ended up, so that was good. I thought, they were having an art, they were supposed to be in an art thing in India, and then it was just after the Twin Tower thing, and that, but we were learning how to draw Indian designs, I mean pictures and stuff. So when I got back from Vrindavan, it was the following year, 2002, when Gurudev came, and I wasn't going to show him these pictures because they weren't that good, but of course my husband's always pushing me. And he said, Gurudev, Hari Priya's got some drawings to show you, and I was showing them to him, and he was asking me everything about each drawing. And out of the blue, he said, I want you to paint for Ujjwal and Nilamani. I thought, I don't even know how to say that. And anyway, so I had no idea what was going on. And so Shamarani said, oh, you have to come with me because I'll have to teach you to paint. But anyway, I was doing a course in painting, and I was really frustrated with it because it wasn't turning out very well. But anyway, I better not make it long because it's take up too much time. But in the end, I end up starting on a painting of from Gita Govinda out of a line joining that Shamarani had done. Oh, is it gone? Oh, anyway, there's a big story to this. I'd really love to have time to be able to tell you about it. And this is a poster of it. This is Lalita and Radharani. And over a period of a couple of years, I was trying to find out who the Sakhi was. And I asked Gurudev, well, who is this Sakhi in the background? And he says, what is your name? I said, Hari Priya. And he said, oh, that is Hari Priya. And so I didn't get an answer. Another time I took the painting to Sydney when he was there. I went back and forth to Vrindavan because it took me 2 years to paint it. And he, and I said, oh, Gurudev, I was holding up, Gurudev, I was going like this, Gurudev, who's the Sakhi in this painting? And he says, and he closed his eyes and he says, I cannot tell you at this moment because Radharani is not talking to me. And we had a friend who'd just met Gurudev for the first time. And he thought, oh my God, he talks to Radharani. So I still didn't get my answer. So so the next time I went to Puri, and I wrote to him beforehand, and I said, Gurudev, is Radharani talking to you yet? And he said, oh, you should bring the painting to Puri, and I will tell you then. So when I did, he said, oh, this is Lalita. So, and the most amazing thing was, I was really inclined to make her a golden color for some reason. I had no idea. And the clothes were purple and green. And when I read the Astakam of Lalita Devi, it said that her clothes were the colors of peacock and she was a golden complexion. So this is not my painting. All through it, Gurudev actually inspired me, and Shamarani helped me with all the technical things. And there's no way I can paint like that without Gurudev's mercy.
Can we see it again?
Yeah, sure. It's a poster, so it's a bit shiny.
Oh, beautiful. Wow. Wow.
And then at the end, when we saw Srila Gurudeva in Vrindavan, I had it with me, and I asked him what other painting I should paint. And he said, whatever inspires you. There's Lord Chaitanya, there's so many pastimes. And I said, what shall I do, this painting? And he said, you should put it in the temple. And well, our house is like a temple, so it's still in my temple, our temple, plus a few of my other paintings. But then he says, you should keep this in your heart. Yeah, and he said you should keep this in your heart. And but there's so many things I could talk about Gurudev, because that's just even was one aspect. Because I was in Govardhan painting with the other devotees for the bas reliefs in his temple, and we were there for 5 weeks, and just so many amazing things happened. I have to tell you this one thing. It was after all the devotees had arrived in Govardhan from Parakran, because hold on, before that. Am I okay for time? It'll only take a couple of
Literally
minutes.
1 minute.
1 minute, okay. So we were feeling quite separation from Gurudev because everyone was on Parakram and we were painting in the temples. So I went into Vrindavan one night and with another devotee, and she got to go and see Gurudev with some things she had to give him. So luckily, Rajanath let me in, and I sat in the back, and everyone was giving him presents and stuff. And I was feeling so bad because I had nothing for him. And I finally, at the end, I crawled up to the front and I said, oh, Gurudev, I have nothing for you. And he says, you have a heart? And I said, yes, I do. And he said, you can give me your heart. And I said, you can take it. So that's very, very small amount of things that I've had.
That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Thank you so much
for allowing me.
You're going to have to come back, you two. The theme
Yeah,
of
but not at this time, please.
the theme was heart. The theme was heart. Just really amazing, really beautiful. Thank you so much. Yeah, thank you so much.
Yasoda?
Budar Haribol.
Yeah, real quick. I mean, are those paintings available as prints? It's such a beautiful painting. Can we buy one?
I have them. They're just basic prints that I've had done in.
You have to send them.
I'll follow up, Budar. We're short of time, so I'll follow up on WhatsApp and let you know.
Thank you. Sorry.
Radhika, yes, Haribol. If Radhika's going to invoke out, and then we're going to switch over to the Kartik room. You've all got the WhatsApp address for Kartik, which will start in literally 2 o'clock. So we'll go out of this room. We'll invoke out of this room to the other room, and we'll see you in there with Shamarani. Haribol, Dandavat.
Thank you so much.
Kripa sindhu bhaivacha patitanam pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Sorry, Yashodhara, did you want to say?
I just wanted to say Haripriya Didi and Vanamali Prabhu, that thank you so much, because we've given you such short time and we're not able to actually reflect on what you've just said. So when we get a chance again, we'll come back and invite you. So apologies, and please forgive us if we caused any offense at that point. So Dandavat Pranams.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Go Pramanande, Hari Hari Bol. Please join us again in the next Zoom room. Hari Bol.